Hello everyone and welcome to my 2022 project pan intro. I started my first ever project pan back in the beginning of 2021, so this is only my second year. I'm still fairly new to project panning. I have been having so much fun with it, so I can't wait to get started on my project pan for the year of 2022. If you haven't seen my 2021 project pan, I will have the playlist in the description box down below as well as up here in the cards. Let's dive into the products I've got for 2022. My first item is something that rolled over from my 2021 project pan, as I did mention in my finale that I do plan to finish the Red Earth Herbal Essence Foundation. I can never remember the name. I hope I will by the time I actually finish this product. Anyways, I do plan to use it all up. As you can see, I am pretty close. I really hope that I could use this foundation consistently. And if I do, I think I'd be able to finish it in 2 months. It's only been 3 days since I recorded my project pan finale for 2021. So I'm just gonna be using the same weight, which is 115 grams for this one. My second item is a new one to this project. It's not new by any means in my foundations though. It is the Rimmel BB Cream in Light. I don't remember how long I've had this, but it is, I think, the oldest foundation that I have at the moment. I want to say I got it sometime in 2019. So on the other hand, it's not that old. It's just a bit over 2 years, which I think is still reasonable. I have been using this lately to mix together with the Red Earth foundation because I find the shade with the Red Earth foundation is slightly lighter than my skin tone. Probably because I tanned so much this past summer. And the reason why I wasn't really using the Rimmel foundation consistently was because I found it to be too deep for my skin tone. So now it's a perfect match. And I love this foundation. Now that I can actually mix it with a lighter foundation, it makes a perfect combo. And I really hope to use this all up. I want to say it's probably 90% full. And when I weighed it weighed 34 grams. Next up, I have a pressed powder. If you followed my 2021 project pan, then you probably remember the Maybelline Fit Me powder. I thought I was close in hitting pan since the beginning, but indeed it took me so many uses until I actually hit pan on that. This year, I'm rolling in another pressed powder. This one's much older than the Maybelline one. Actually, I've had this for many years. And I honestly lost track of how many years I've had this. I got this when I thought that powder was an essential step in makeup application until I realized that I didn't really have to set my base much at all because I had very dry skin. Everything kind of sets itself. And also I use a setting spray and that will do. And once I reintroduced powder to my makeup routine to act as a second layer of insurance when I work out, I prefer the Maybelline powder. And now that I have hit pan on that, I thought I'd get back to using this a little bit more because since I have to wear a mask, I have started to wear a lot more powder. And so my goal is simply just to hit pan on this, although it has a net weight of 6.2 grams, which is slightly more than Maybelline. And plus, I haven't been using this too much. So I really hope that I can hit pan on this at least by the end of 2022. By the way, today when I weighed it, it was 70 grams. Next up, I have an eyeshadow stick from Laura Mercier. This is also an item that I rolled over from my 2021 project pan. If you have seen my 2021 project pan, then you would know that my goal is to use this up. Right now, I have it used up against the top of the container. So if I want to use it, I have to roll it up. And there's not that much product in total, although I definitely don't need a lot for each application. But looking at my progress so far with it, since I rolled it in when it was pretty much brand new, I'm pretty confident in finishing this up if I keep up my progress. My next item is another new item to the project pan, but once again, not new to my makeup. It is the Marc Jacobs Spotlight Glow Stick. It's a pretty old product and it's just a cream highlighter. I've had this for many years, and I want to say this is my first high-end highlighter. I got it sometime in 2017. It's pretty old, but I have been using this consistently since December because I thought it would make a good selection of what I plan to pan in 2022. So I wanted to just use it to see if it's still good and usable, and it was. It worked really well and it looks beautiful on the skin, just like when I got it. So my goal is not to finish it actually, because it's such a big cream highlighter that I don't think that would be realistic, because it doesn't say how much product's in here on the packaging. So I searched online and then it's 14 grams. My goal is to use it up 5 more grams from where it is right now. Today, when I weighed it, it weighed 60 grams. That means my goal would be to reach 55 grams, if my math is correct. Next up, a liquid blush. This is also new to the project pan, and it's actually not old to my makeup collection either. I've had it for just over a year. Because I love this shade so much that I almost don't want to use it, I've been kind of saving, but not really, because for the most part I was focusing on the blush that was in my 2021 project pan. I did try very hard to finish that, though I didn't end up hitting my goal, but that's okay. So my goal for this one is also to finish it up. It's still pretty much brand new, but sooner or later I'll have to finish it. I would much rather use it all up than to have it just sitting there and go bad because I want to save it. This is in the shade Luster. By the end of 2022, I will have had this blush for 2 years, and that's when a liquid blush really starts to get old and expires. So my goal is to finish it before it goes bad. Another product that's new to the project, this is quite old in my collection, it's the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I'm sure everyone knows what this is. It's such an iconic product on YouTube, I want to say. And this is my first ever bronzer. Now I have quite a few bronzers, but this was my first ever. And it was my only bronzer for a couple years actually. But if you look at the pan though, it's not very well loved. Although I love this bronzer, it still smells so good even until this day. I want to say I got this sometime in 2018. I don't think it's anytime before that. So in my opinion, it's not that old as a powder product, but because I got a few new bronzers this past year that I just totally neglected this butter bronzer for the entire year of 2021. I didn't even use it once. So I thought it's time for me to take care of my first bronzer ever and see if I can hit pan on this. I think that's an extremely ambitious goal. I honestly don't see a great potential on hitting that goal, but you never know. At the end of the day, what really matters is I actually get to use this product and not just let it sit there and collect dust. Next up, I have an eyeshadow palette. It's also new to this project pan. It is the Anastasia Soft Glam palette. Also, I think a very iconic palette. This is definitely one of the first high-end eyeshadow palette that I ever had. I know exactly when I got it. I got it in the summer of 2018. I was so happy when I was finally able to get it, and it really meant a lot to me at the time. I just love all the shades in here. It's such a beautiful palette, and it was my favorite eyeshadow palette for a while. It's still one of my absolute favorite eyeshadow palettes. And once again, I did use this quite a bit, but I am extremely light-handed when it comes to, I guess, makeup in general. This palette's also special to me because this is what I wore on my wedding day, because that's how much I love this palette. I absolutely had to wear this on my wedding day. What inspired me to really try to get to use it more is that when I saw Chic Geek, which is one of my all-time absolutely favorite content creators on YouTube, she posted that her soft glam palette kind of went bad. So that rang a bell, and I thought, well, what if mine goes bad? I'd be so sad to let go of it. Nevertheless, even if mine doesn't go bad, I still gotta use it a little bit more because I loved it for such a long time. Of course, it means a lot to me. And of course, it holds sentimental values to it as well. Even if I were to buy a brand new version of the soft glam palette, it's not going to be the same. I'm determined to use this palette as much as I can for the year of 2022. I really want to say that I hope to hit pan on at least one shadow in here. But once again, if you saw my last project pan, then you know that I spent the entire year trying so hard to hit pan on this NARS mini eyeshadow palette, and I did not succeed. That being said, I did successfully hit pan on 2 other eyeshadow palettes, so I still see hitting pan as a possibility for the soft glam palette because, of course, the shadow in here is not nearly as hardly pressed as the NARS formula. And I don't think the weight really matters, but I weighed the soft glam palette anyways, and it weighed 178 grams. And last, I have a couple of lip products that I want to roll in. The first one being the MAC lipstick in shade Sea Sheer. I used to only have MAC lipstick for a couple of years, or maybe even more than that. And Sea Sheer is one of the shades that I enjoyed reaching for. A funny story is I have 2 of the Sea Sheer lipstick because the first one I had, it went missing, and since I couldn't find it anywhere, I went ahead and bought a second one. And no, the first one did not appear right after. It was not until a couple years after I got a new one that finally I found it in a little corner in my room or something. I don't even remember where I found it, but it came back to my life. So now I have 2 of the same shade, and I have no idea which is which. So I just grabbed one of the 2. Looks like this right now. Doesn't look much used. Of course, I don't plan to use it up. I think it's just gonna take forever. And I like to rotate through my lipsticks. So I gave myself a goal of using it just 30 times. The last item is a lip gloss, and I kind of have a backup for the last item, which I will talk about in a second. But this one is the Shu Uemura in the shade BG04. It's got the Lac Supreme. I think that's the name of this gloss. Looks like that. Like I mentioned in my 2021 Project Pan finale, I wanted to roll a new gloss into my 2022 Project Pan. I originally planned to just start with one of the Pat McGrath gloss that I have until I saw this one kind of separating. And this is one of my favorite glosses. So when I saw this separating, I was very much alarmed and I didn't know if it was still good. So I thought I would just roll this one in and try using it and see how it goes. If I feel like it's still good and usable, I'm going to continue on with this until I use it up. As in, use it till nothing comes out without having to take out the stopper. And I know that's not really using it up, but that's as much as I will go for this. The reason I have a backup, which is a Pat McGrath lip gloss, and this is in the shade Bronze Temptation, is because if after using this a few times I feel like this lip gloss has gone bad, I'm gonna just have to declutter it and continue on with the Pat McGrath one. I hope that makes sense. So that's it. That was a pretty long intro. I'm so talkative today because I'm so excited for the new project pan. I can't wait to film the first update. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really means a lot to me. And if you are interested to see my project pan updates, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I really hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.